So I remade my two-way sharpshooter build on 2K21, and so far I haven't played any comp games, so I can't 100% confirm, but it feels like it was a good decision. Now, I love the first two-way sharpshooter I had. I didn't really have too many issues with it. There was like 2 or 3 issues I had, which I'm going to emphasize during this video, but those were the few things I needed to change, and that's what made this build so much better. But first, before I get into the video, I'd appreciate it if y'all like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, because obviously I am trying to grow as a YouTuber. I think I'm at like 412 now, so I guess I'm on the road to 500, which doesn't sound as much as when all your favorite YouTubers say it, but you gotta start somewhere. So the issues I had with the last build were, as I go over the progression, the finishing actually was fine. Oddly enough, I don't have a lot of finishing, but the finishing was fine. I think really most of that is skill wise, not trying to brag or anything, but finishing, I'm fairly smart with how I finish.
What?
I don't really finish dumb layups or try to go with dunks. I shouldn't, unless it's like a blowout game where I'm playing around, or maybe, you know, every now and then somebody will make a last, but usually I don't make those issues. So to start out with finishing, I got an 86 close shot, 81 driving layup, 76 driving dunk, 34 standing dunk, 34 post hook. The standing dunk and post hook don't matter. You can check out my first video. I think I had a lot more standing dunk on the first build. I don't think I had post hook at all. And you'll see badge wise what difference I made with that, but I did take some finishing away. But I didn't take any of the finishing I use. Obviously I don't use standing dunk, I don't use post hook, so none of that matters. Shooting, this is where I had an issue, because on the last build I think I had an 84 3-pointer and 99.9. This is 99.9 by the way. I think I had an 84 3-pointer, and the issue I had with that is, I don't know if you watch 2K Lab, and if you don't, go over and check out their video after you watch this video, because they pointed out that it seems like the 3-point threshold is an 86 on this year's 2K. And on the last build I had an 84 at max, and sometimes you could feel it. It felt like I could only shoot like 55%. Stat wise, it wouldn't show you that I'm shooting that. I think realistically I probably am, because there was a couple games I lagged out, a couple games the teams quit early, and there was even one game where I quit early. So realistically my stats are much better than they look like, but I was probably only shooting like 45%, and on 2K Labs, it says with this 3-pointer, if you shoot perfectly every time, you'll probably make 55% at 84 3-pointer, and I don't like that, considering I'm one of the 2 players on my team that's considered a shooter. Well, I guess we have 3 now, but usually we only have 2, but you get the point. Mid-range is at 89, 3-point is at 86, free throw is at 92, post fade is at 62. Now, obviously, you see I got a lot more post fade, which, if you make the comparison, I took the standing dunk and put it on post fade. And then I now have the threshold 3-pointer. So on paper, I should be able to shoot just as good as high shooting builds, because 86 is the threshold. Obviously, I would have to stay at a 99, but with only 1 month left in the game, I feel like I got enough grit for that. Free throw and mid-range, that is what it is. I couldn't really shoot mid-ranges, period, on the last build. I don't know if there's some type of mid-range threshold, or I just didn't have my hot zones or what. But now I have my hot zones, have the almost 90 mid-range, so I should be alright. 82 pass accuracy, yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. Now here's the big difference. Now the first one I had default wingspan, which changed a few things, not too much. I didn't want to go long because I didn't want to sacrifice more 3, which in hindsight was a good decision, even though I needed more 3. But this ball handle, when 2K came out with the patch where 80 ball handle can now get pro dribbles, this basically emphasized the fact that I need to remake the build, because I was already thinking about remaking it for the shooting. I wanted more shooting badges, I wanted to hit the shooting threshold, and I was finishing good enough that I felt like I could take some of that away. But when they announced that the 80 ball handle will now allow pro dribbles, that made me feel like this needs to happen. Not because I'm a great dribbler, I'm really not even that good at dribbling, but the ability to be able to pull off a move or two when I need to changes the game. Not to mention, one thing people overlook a lot is when you're dribbling, the normal dribbles, the basic dribbles, the pro dribbles, one thing other than obviously the actual moves that is completely different, if you just use all 3 of them in a row, you'll notice. Basic, you'll drop the ball consistently no matter what you're doing. Normal, you're fine, the moves aren't that bad, but you're moving very slow. pro dribbles, you're just much faster. And that's a game changer for somebody who's semi-ball handling on the team. The fact that I now have the ability to move faster simply because I have better moves and I can use better moves if need be is way worth it for me. And that's what made me feel like I need to go ahead and do this. Defensively, I got the 42 interior, 88 perimeter, 88 lateral quickness, 93 steal, 50 block, 44 offensive rebound, and 74 defensive rebound. All of this, honestly, I don't really know the differences between where my wingspan is now versus when it was at default. I'm assuming this was around like 91, 92, maybe it was even 90. I can't fully remember. The steal was probably like a 94, 95. The block was probably like a 50. No, actually, I didn't even put my block up on the last one. That's the difference I made this time. I put block up because I didn't have as much extra to waste on standing dunk and, you know, playmaking and all that. So I put the block up. So my block is actually higher. Defensive rebound was probably like a 78, maybe even an 80. So it made slight differences, but because I have so much defensive skill personally, I don't feel like it's going to matter the little differences that this made. So I don't feel like it'll affect me. And don't worry, I'll go over how to make the build after I go over all this little stuff. So we can head on over to badges. I got silver contact, silver slithering. I don't really feel like Giant Slayer is that important this year. Fancy footwork doesn't feel good at all. Acrobat's good, but I don't need it. Consistent and relentless are both really good on bronze, but I'm not going to be in the paint that much. Shooting badges. A lot of people will say take this off. The reason I'm not taking this off is because at 99, I'm just hitting that 70% shooter threshold. So one thing that will happen to me is I may green a shot, but the game won't register it a green. So I want the highest boost possible to make sure my shot goes in regardless. Now, obviously, if I do end up mistiming my shot, it helps me even more. But one thing I noticed is catch and shoot on silver, I'm good there. I don't need any more. And honestly, I could take it all the way off and be perfectly fine. At one point, I was running this. But again, a big fan of 2K Labs. I watched their video and they tested it and they said unless you have like over 20, I think they said 23 shooting badges, you really only need bronze volume shooter. And with my test, I noticed volume shooter is a great badge, but they're probably right. The amount of times I shoot in MyCAREER versus the amount of times I'll shoot in Pro-Am or Park is a huge difference. I'll probably shoot 5 to 10 shots in Pro-Am and Park, whereas in MyCAREER I'm shooting 25, 32. So I probably only need bronze. Obviously, these three on Hall of Fame. The difference between Hall of Fame and Gold Deadeye is huge. Hot Zone on Hall of Fame, only use that obviously if you have your hot zones. I do. Ranger Center on Hall of Fame is pretty much a must because you can shoot from hash mark, sometimes even half court if you're hot enough. And the fact that if you're on the side of the court, you can shoot deep twos. It changes the game, honestly. Now, if there was anything I would rotate, I would think about taking this off, throwing that on, or going gold here, because I know I just said it's not worth it, but it does help. I did test, it is better. If I start greening consistently, I might do one of those. Would I just get an extra badge? Oh, here. Not that. I would do one of those. And flexible, I'm willing to drop it all the way down to bronze, if I'm being completely honest with you. And I can rotate this around anywhere. But right now, I'm going to rock this. I feel like I'll be fine there. Now, this is where I'm struggling. Obviously, we all know, if you've been a fan of my YouTube, I'm obviously a fan of mine. I'm not a dribbler. So I don't really have any dribbling badges on. I just have this, testing it out to see if he'll do anything for me. I think the highest I'll go is maybe silver and take needle threader off, but I need to test that because I feel like needle threader helps me out a lot considering I'm a very good passer. And bounce passes, every time I throw one, I notice needle threader pops up. And if it's a necessity, I don't really feel too comfortable taking it off. Right now, I'm going to rock this just to test it out, but that's where I'm at. Now, these are the main four. Obviously, we all know I got them on Hall of Fame. A lot of people rock this, maybe this, and this. And then now they got 8 to play with. Now, I'm not going to lie. I agree. This is all you need. But I didn't make a two-way sharpshooter to do that. I made this build to be as annoying as possible on the defensive end. And this is the way to do that. Now, will I think about doing something like this so I'm not as tired, or even this. Sure, I don't really think it'll hurt me, but I don't really think I'll be that tired. I know this game, you get tired very easily, but I don't think it'll really bother me. Now the animations, I got the Tony Parker jump shot. We already know that. I was using a custom, but I switched that. Michael Jordan free throw, athletic 3 pull-up. I'm going through this quick because I believe almost all of this is the same as it was before. The stiff 3 spin jumper, the normal 21 hop jumper, fade 2, post hook 1. I believe all that the same, so I'm not going to go over that. Now here's the difference. Steph Curry dribble style. I got the Pro 2 crossover, Pro 5 behind the back, Pro 4 spin, Pro 4 hesitation, Allen Iverson, Park 1 size up, Pro 3 basic size up, Pro 2 size up escape. Now I saw a lot of people say you gotta have Pro 5 and Pro 5, or Pro 5 and Pro 4, and this, that, and the other to do the Curry behind the back Curry slide or whatever. It's not actually true. I was doing it without those, so I'm not sure where that came from. And to be honest with y'all, other than like 2 of these dribble moves, all of them came from my teammate who y'all see in the game quite a bit, Original Crook. All of these dribble moves are his, so I mean, he takes all credit for that. None of it's really mine. Now the dunks, these are mine. The long athlete, obviously you need to put that on. Got baseline reverses just in case I want to do a baseline. Front clutches, I might take that off. They seem to be a little slower this year. Quick drops off 1. Athletic one-handers off 1. Fist pump rim pulls and athletic hangs off 2. This, honestly, I could take it off, but it's so far down, I don't really think it'll activate. But these 2 are actually important for somebody with a low dunk like mine, because there's certain animations. Let me see if I can pick one out. See how much faster that one is, and that one. Those 2 trigger way more than all the rest of them. Don't even trip over it. You won't. The slow ones really only happen when you're on, oddly enough, when you're on a fast break and somebody's chasing you down. That's when the slow dunks happen. Other than that, like, comment, subscribe, share the video. I'm on the road to 500. Gotta start somewhere. If you would like to comment what type of videos I should make, let me know and I'll try to make them. My socials is itsGeeFazo, and I'm out.